Hi, I'm Eric Miller, proprietor and chief grape grower here at Chaddsford Winery. I first began growing grapes back in the late 60s, early 70s in the Hudson Valley of New York, when people thought it was a pretty crazy thing to do, growing wine here in the East Coast. But a few pioneers and I did it anyway. And after a while, it occurred to me in the 80s, early 80s, that there are other microclimates that were even more appropriate, and that's what drew me here to the southeastern part of Pennsylvania. And here in the Brandywine Valley, I believe I've found just a perfect microclimate for what I need to do as a wine grower. Here I've begun to develop the Miller Estate Vineyard. It's a beautiful little 30-acre site about 40 minutes north of the winery here in Chester County on the French Creek Conservancy. And it's a spectacular site. And I'm growing Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Barbera, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, some really exciting grape varieties. The Miller Estate is about 600 feet above sea level. When you look to the north and the south, you can see the valley drops about 200 feet below that. When I stand on those slopes, overlooking those vines, knowing how we've hand-pruned each vine, tucked them, lifted them, and cared for them over the growing season, I'm emotionally attached. My whole being is engaged by the delicious signature that our unique terroir imposes on the fruit that we grow. That makes them completely different from any other wine in the world, and yet so much like the wines that I most admire from other driven winemakers, great winemakers in the world. What makes me excited is knowing that everything we do on the Miller Estate is done to assure absolute top quality, because my goal is to grow great wines in the vineyard, to bring to bear my 40 vintages of experience, interpreting the vintage before me, fine-tuning it, and taking painstaking measures to ensure that each variety, every grape, reaches its maximum potential every vintage. Because if we start with top quality in the vineyard, all we have to do in the cellar is not screw it up. The wines that are eventually bottled from the Miller Estate Vineyard are grouped into my portfolio collection, which you can find here at the winery. Look for a Miller Estate Chardonnay, Miller Estate Pinot Noir, and Miller Estate Chambourcin, and my new Miller Estate blend of red varieties we have named Essence. It's what I consider to be a perfect confluence of terroir, experience, hard work, and it's the purest essence of our landscape.